Hey everyone, welcome back and happy Tuesday. Obviously, you guys know that tonight we get a new episode of The Valley, which let me just say, my hopes for this is that please, it just has to be better than last week's episode. Last week's episode was shit. It was so bad. Um, a lot of people are not loving the cast right now for The Valley. And a lot of people are calling for some people to be replaced or some former Vanderpump Rules cast members to be brought in. I think that it's sort of flatlining right now, in my opinion, because we didn't have Jax on, which you guys know obviously I'm not a huge Jax fan. But like you can tell when he's not on versus when he is on. You know, you have this just like, it's just a different energy. I don't know. But anyways, we're back to talk about Lisa Vanderpump, Scheana. We have Michelle, we have Aaron. We have lots to talk about, lots to discuss. So before we jump in, if you guys haven't already, go ahead, pop off in the comment section. If you're not subscribed, get subscribed. Don't forget to hit that notification bell, and let's get to it. I'm kind of just like, what in the is actually happening right now between Scheana and Lisa Vanderpump? Let me just kind of take you guys back for a second. This all started with Kristen Doute. It truly did. And I love Kristen Doute. But Kristen Doute came out and said, oh, some bitches better be scared because Scheana's new memoir is going to come out. And she's spilling the tea a lot, especially about Lisa. And all of us were like, wait, what? Spilling the tea on Lisa for what? She's like, it's not my story to tell. It's not. She's spilling the tea on Lisa, and you'll just have to stay tuned. So obviously we're going to sit there and we're going to look at that and be like, did something happen that we don't know about? Is this like behind the scenes shit that like conversations that now all of a sudden you're comfortable sharing because Vanderpump Rules is over? What happened? Now, after that came out, Scheana never really shut those rumors up. So she is partially, love Scheana too. She is partially to blame for this because unless I missed something, I never heard her say that this was misconstrued until Lisa Vanderpump actually responded to it. I think that, again, no offense to Scheana, I think that Scheana let it live because it does make it sound more exciting, and it does probably or would probably drive people to go check out her book, which, you know, we all have different marketing tactics. We all do different things in order to sell products and whatever. And I think she just let it live on. And then Lisa Vanderpump cued to the Watch What Happens Live, which she was absolutely amazing. She was so funny on Watch What Happens Live. But Lisa Vanderpump ends up going on Watch What Happens Live, and she's asked about this book, the memoir. And she was very cheeky about it, but she's like, oh, of course, like Scheana needs to talk about me in order to sell her book. Like, whatever. It is what it is. Like, listen, if I gave you a platform or if somebody gave me a platform, I wouldn't bite the hand that fed me. So she had her digs. Well, now Sheena's responding. That was a roundabout way of just like catching you guys up on all of this shit. But Scheana ended up responding by saying a couple of things. One, she said that Kristen Doute completely gave like a false like pretense to what this is. It's not like a bashing Lisa situation. She said that she was always hopeful to write her book at the end of Vanderpump Rules. Like that's when she knew that she was going to write a book, and she started writing the book before they all got fired and the show got rebooted. And so, okay, there you are. But she wanted to share things that happened because this was it's her memoir. This was such a big part of her life. And she said, you know, Lisa was in her life and super influential for probably about 15, 16 years. So she's like, yeah, of course, Lisa is going to be in my book. And she also said, you know, there were conversations that everybody wasn't privy to. And I was the go-to girl. I was the golden girl. And now I guess I'm just one of like 700 employees. But she's like, I was that server, the person who she would call and she needed and she would rely on for information or like maneuvering around behind the scenes in production. That was me. So I'm guessing what she's doing now in this memoir is she's opening up about some of these moments where Lisa did heavily rely on her, and maybe where Lisa did encourage her to drive certain storylines. I feel like that's what it is, which it's not the end of the world because that is what a producer does anyways. If you guys didn't know, like when you start off a new show on Bravo, what they do is they get the production team, they get the casting done, blah, 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 and they figure out who's going to be on the show. And then they storyboard everything. So they kind of have from start to finish how they can see the entire season being filmed, because you have to think about it like they only have a short amount of time to film it. And then as things are playing out and they are filming the show, what they have to do is go back to the storyboard every single week, probably every single day, because new things come up. Like this person gets caught cheating, or this person is now filing for divorce, or this person needs to go to rehab, or this bomb just got dropped. So then that's what they do. They storyboard and they encourage the cast to drive the storylines. I'm sure Lisa definitely encouraged Scheana to drive storylines. That is what a producer does. But hold on. Continuing on, she also felt like, at the end of the day, I don't know if you guys remember this. This was during COVID. Scheana unfortunately suffered from a miscarriage. And I know that was heartbreaking for her. And she said so many people sent her flowers, and they sent her text messages and notes and all of the things. They checked in on her. But Lisa Vanderpump never checked in on her. And she said, to me, that was heartbreaking. Like, what? You're not going to check in on me like when this is like the most terrible time of my life? So that affected her, right? And then moving on to the success of the show. I think Scheana took this one to heart a little bit too. But Lisa Vanderpump did say on Watch What Happens Live, I gave you a platform and you guys are pretty much shitting on me. Like, you guys should be grateful. I gave you this massive platform and all of this opportunity that came with it. You guys are all in like $2-3 million homes now. You're welcome. And Scheana is like, that's not true. You didn't give us shit. Bravo gave us a platform. And I was the key person. And my scandal that I was involved with was the segue from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills with Brandi Glanville, Eddie Cibrian, all of that. That was me. I was that segue. I shared my life. 6 of us. There were 6 of us who shared everything. 11 seasons, 2 Emmy nominations. That is how that happened. No offense to Lisa Vanderpump. This is what Sheena's saying. But people didn't tune in to watch your life. You didn't share that much. People tuned in for us. And also because of us sharing our lives, you got other shows that didn't end up doing well. Vanderpump Dogs, Overserved, Vanderpump Villa, which is doing good. But all of these other shows because of us on Vanderpump Rules. So kind of like you should be thanking us. I see both sides of this. And Scheana did say, I am, however, forever grateful to Bravo. Bravo is the one who gave us the platform. I see both sides, but I do also agree. I see both sides. Yes, without Lisa Vanderpump, you guys wouldn't be doing what you're doing today. No, you wouldn't even be a part of the Bravo universe. You wouldn't have been on the show. She is the one who handed you the opportunity. It's kind of like when you can hand somebody the tools or lead a horse to water, but they still got to drink it. They still got to build the house. You know what I'm saying? So you can give them everything that they need to make something great, but they still have to do it. They have to put in the work. And that cast did put in the work. So I understand Sheena's part of the argument. However, they wouldn't have even had an opportunity to do the work and be as great as they were and have that show be as great as it was without Lisa Vanderpump giving them that opportunity to begin with. So it's both sides. This is exhausting. Okay? It's exhausting. Now, on top of that, she was talking about on her 40th birthday how she ended up, I guess, just taking certain people's names and making sure that they were not invited. Jax Taylor, Jesse Lawley, Tom Sandoval, because she said that they're a bunch of toxic men who make their friends feel uncomfortable. She invited Ariana Madix. She invited Michelle. Brittany was there. And she didn't want these toxic men at her birthday making her friends feel uncomfortable. She wanted to party with her friends. Somebody said that's an asshole move. No, it's not. It's her birthday. She could do whatever she wants. But I'm going to play the clip.
It was on Watch What Happens Live. She's done a bunch of interviews. She keeps being asked about this idea that you're spilling all this tea about her in the book. She's kind of implying that they're like using it to sell books. What do you think of all that?
When I saw the Watch What Happens Live clip, it was a little hurtful. You know, it's like now I'm just one of 700 employees. But when Kristen went on Bitch Bible and was like, oh, Scheana said there's a lot of tea she's going to spill. What I said to Kristen is there are things that I've never felt comfortable talking about that I open up about in the book. Because I've always been just very loyal to Lisa. And there were a lot of situations that I've been put in, phone calls that were made, and things that just kind of shaped a big part of my life that I do discuss in the book. Is she going to be happy with everything I say in the book? Probably not, but it's my truth. And it's something that I never felt comfortable sharing. There are a lot of things that people don't know or people assume. And so it's not necessarily tea I'm spilling about Lisa. It's tea I'm spilling about myself.
Right, exactly.
This book is my memoir.
And she's involved in that story.
Of course.
Lisa was on Watch What Happens Live.
See? Didn't want me to tell that story. You know, she's right. She is right. Let me just kind of catch you back up really quick. She is right in what she's saying, Scheana. However, you know, it is her story. She can tell her story however she wants. And when people play a part in your story, you know, like you shouldn't be silenced because of that. You just have to know that there are consequences with talking about certain people. But can't wait to see what the story says. We'll see. Anyways, moving on. So you guys know Michelle from the Valley. She is apparently, I guess, in a new living arrangement. So this kind of feels like a little bit of a double standard to me. And I like Michelle, but Michelle and her boyfriend Aaron are now living together, and she kind of credited her daughter for that too, because her daughter wanted everyone to be under the same roof. I think that her daughter probably loves Aaron, which is amazing. Michelle clearly found like a great guy and love that for her. But what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Like now, if Jesse brings some girl around and also moves her in or something like that, everything can't be like this. Because as a child and a product of divorce, it's toxic. We feel it. It affects us and it shapes us in who we become. So you guys got to get your shit together. And as somebody who's not a parent, I can even look at it. It's like common sense. You got to get your shit together. You got to put your differences aside. Stop fucking hating each other or keep hating each other. Who gives a shit? But when it comes to your kid, you guys have to compartmentalize. For two people who are really, really intelligent and really smart, this is really, really stupid. But moving forward, she said that her boyfriend, Aaron, has this desire to have more children and he wants like 3 or 4. She's open to potentially having maybe one more and we'll see. Maybe she will, maybe she won't. I don't know. If she does, we'll be watching it on the Valley, I'm sure. Unless somebody gets replaced, which somebody needs to be replaced on that fucking show. 4 people need to be replaced that I can see. But I want to hear what you guys think, guys. Pop off in the comment section, please. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. And yeah, we'll see you later. Love you. Bye.